The Baltimore Orioles get a complete team win. Man, that's about as complete as you can ask for over the Boston Red Sox here. Final score, 5-1. In the Orioles, they continue their momentum from last night. And it was a great all-around win. I'm Kevin Ostreicher. This is Kevin and Zach React. We are your daily destination for Orioles post-game reactions. We do other reactions as well. And, man, this is going to be a fun one to talk about tonight. As Zack Eflin stars, Gunnar Henderson goes yard. The bullpen, for the most part, shuts it down. A lot of storylines. Zach, I believe, will be joining me a bit later on. Could be in a minute, could be in 30. Who knows when Zach is coming on? But for now, I will be taking you through this win. It was a big one. Obviously, divisional wins, when it comes down to it, those are massively important. And the Orioles now, and I saw the stat here. Who dropped it in? Who dropped it in the chat? Here it is. Khan saying 6-1 against the Sox. And we had said it coming into this series. The Orioles, before this game, they had this 4-game set, obviously, and then another 3-game set a bit later down the line. 7 games left against Boston. 1-0 is a great way to start that. So, man, we do have a lot to talk about here. I mean, I think we have to start, though, with the star of the game, in my opinion, and in everybody's opinion, it feels like, and that is Mr. Zack Eflin, the star of the trade deadline, the steal of the trade deadline, the best pickup of the trade deadline, whatever you want to call it. Zack Eflin had himself another day today. So we're going to be talking about that. My mic sounds off. Oh, I know why. Hold on. Getting the old settings. There we go. Is this better? Is the mic better? I think I was on the wrong one. Are we good? Mic is better now. I saw some stuff in the chat. Is that at least a little better? Are we sure? Maybe. That's better? All right, I see one that's better. Yes. Okay. And you know what? That was a sign, okay? Because you know what? Zach Bollinger just joined. I was on the wrong mic, Zach, and so people were telling me we were trying to figure it out, and that gave you enough time to hop in here before we started the analysis.
How are we feeling, Kevin? I like the title. Balanced, just a balanced win. Loved it. Absolutely loved the voice tonight. Can I tell you something? I'm starting to think this Zack Eflin guy might be pretty decent.
Maybe just a little. Just he might be a little bit of a ball player.
You know, kid, and I have to come in hot with it. Birch Fish with honestly two of the biggest outs. Call to the bullpen. Here comes Birch Fish, baby.
There he is. Just swim to the mound. There he is.
We do have to have Birch Smith on this show, though, now.
And speaking of, I was waiting for you to do the prop. I went out today. I was getting a little shopping done. And, of course, you know, I can't pass up an opportunity.
You got another fish? That's 12 now?
12 glass fish. Look at this guy.
Why do you have...
So here is the glass version of Birch Fish. So here's the prop, and it's very fitting because Birch Smith, you mentioned it.
Yeah.
Had two of the biggest outs of the night. But we have to start with Zack Eflin, man. I mean, we have to. Box score stat line. 6 innings, 5 hits, only 1 run, and 8 strikeouts. He was dealing, got pulled after, 87 pitches, I believe it was. So I know if there's any controversy from the game, it is that and the way the bullpen was handled, I guess. But Eflin has been the prince that was promised. Yeah. I mean, is he ever going to lose? Is he ever going to lose a game in an Orioles uniform?
Who knows?
Is he ever going to do it?
Who knows? That's all I know is who knows. I'm absolutely loving it, though. And tonight, 8 strikeouts. I mean, this is – people also forget Zack Eflin. I know it wasn't – the stats weren't always there. in Tampa. Zach Eflin was like a sneaky dark horse to lead the league in strikeouts. Like he has stuff where he can go and get some guys to swing. Honestly, the umpire helped both sides a little bit tonight, helped and hurt both sides, I'd say. But Zach Eflin is just, and this is the biggest thing. Throw strikes, good things happen. When you don't walk, Kevin, what's my biggest pet peeve? Nothing good happens after a walk. When you're walking, guys, you are leaving yourself sustained. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. You're setting yourself up for failure because you're giving free passes. You know, you're letting guys, especially a Red Sox team that's struggling right now, you can't give them extra chances. Also, coming in here, hair on fire. Also, we're back in first place, baby. Throw up the banner.
Hey.
The toxic couple of the Orioles and Yankees reunited again, tied. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, man. It is electric. And again, like now you feel so much better about where this rotation is. I mean, obviously there are still question marks, don't get me wrong, but where would this team be without Zach Eflin right now?
I don't even want to think about that.
It'd be Corbin Burns in the maybe you get a good start, maybe you don't. And that's no shade to anybody, but that's kind of how it's been for the rest of these guys throughout this season. So Eflin has been a steadying force. You feel pretty confident, you know, that Burns Eflin back to back or whenever they go out, man, you feel like that if they can just get a little bit of offense going, if there's a little bit, then obviously you're probably in good shape to win the game. So man, he has been everything and more. And, you know, we can talk about, you know, Eloy having his moments early.
Yeah, and
Dominguez being great.
The Red Sox have lost 6 of their last 8. The Red Sox swept by the Astros, and then they fought back. They did take 2 against the Rangers, could have had a sweep, and then blew it in the 9th last night. I mean, they're a team backpedaling right now, which is good for the Orioles. But that's a team that is now – we were thinking maybe dark horse for come out and win the division. They might not make the playoffs anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think at this point and again, if the Orioles can win 3 or 4 here, sets Boston back even further. I think it's back down to a 2-team race between the Orioles and the Yankees, which I think a lot of people at the end of the day, like that's what people expected to be down the stretch anyway. But the big question was, would the Red Sox be able to make a run? And I think now is the time where you would have expected them to close the gap a little bit more. So don't count them out, but they're certainly on the downtrend right now. And the Orioles have a prime opportunity to go up by a full game every single time here, where you don't have to worry about, oh, what if the Red Sox win and the Orioles win? No. If you win, they lose for these next, the 4 games, obviously now being the 3 with the win. If they win, you lose. If you win, they lose. That's how this next series, these next 3 games are going to go. So yeah, it's going to be a big series. I'm saying again, if you can win 3 or 4, I'd call that successful. You come out further ahead than you were.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's successful. If you take 3 or 4 against the division, I mean, the Orioles once again continue to just play let me get the official stats out here. The Orioles just continue to play against the division super well. The Orioles versus the AL East this year are 27-13 in 40 games. Like, wow. You want to talk about like the Orioles, yeah, have they struggled? They're 14-6 versus Central. They're 15-19 in interleague play because we can't beat the NL for some reason. But let's go down the list. The Orioles are 27-13 against the East. The Yankees are 22-23. The Yankees are below 500 in the AL East. Then you have Boston at 14-14. Have they played no games against the East? Jeez. Then you have Tampa Bay 17-23 and Toronto 17-24. So the Orioles are the only team above 500 in the division against the other AL East teams.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do. I mean, especially in a division race that's this tight, like, every game matters all the time. Like, I am of the belief that, you know, maybe a game in May doesn't matter to a lot of people, but it certainly can have an impact when you're talking about right now. And if you go on a little 4-game run in June, in September, you could be talking about, man, remember when the Orioles went on that 4-game run? That was the difference. So you always want to win against the division. You always want to win against, obviously, the AL in general. But we knew, Zach and I had said this, that the Orioles had 7 games coming up against Boston, this series included. This was an opportunity to essentially knock them all but out of AL East contention with, the games remaining is just slowly but steadily dwindling. So, let's just say, our thanks that the Orioles do not play in the NL Central and instead play in the vaunted AL East.
If we played in the NL Central, we wouldn't win a game. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. Man. So Eflin was incredible. He's been a steady presence, and he's been a guy for them that you can rely on going out there every 5th day or whenever they want to throw him out there and giving them a quality start enough if the offense hits a little bit to go out and to win it. But it wasn't all about Eflin. Obviously, the bullpen comes in after 6. Gregory Soto. There was some controversy. Gets pulled after a 1/3 of an inning. Bart Smith comes in. Every time I'm so close to just saying Fish. It's ingrained in my mind.
I don't. Sometimes I refer to him as Birch Fish. Sometimes I will refer to the Fish as Birch Smith. We've ruined my perception of Birch. I wish to call him Birch Fish.
I know.
I'm sorry, Birch Smith. We have to get a Birch Fish jersey soon.
Birch Fish jersey. I don't know how a Fish jersey would go, but Birch Smith comes in, and as you mentioned, Zach, right when you joined, 2 of the biggest stats of the entire game to get out of that. So we know that he has been Mr. Consistent, AKA, and we know the nickname has a ring to it. I just saw a tweet about it right here.
The solution.
The solution. Birch Smith has been that for them, and we were all year, Zach. We were looking up. We were saying, "Where is the solution? Where is the solution?" Because guys, they would have a good outing or they'd have a good week, and then they would blow a game and they would lose the game for the Orioles. We're saying we don't want a guy to be the problem. We want a guy. Where's the solution? And Birch Smith has been the solution for the Orioles in this bullpen. Man, he has been just as consistent as you can get.
Yeah, and this is kind of talking because Birch induced one of these. Isn't it good to see Gunnar and Jackson just turning the double play? Because especially we've seen a few times this year, especially in their first stint, but even we saw it, I think, 3 games ago. Sometimes it's been a little sloppy between the two when they're trying to turn a double play, whether they're not on the same page, throws a little off, rushing each other a little bit. It was nice to see Gunnar and Jackson seemingly on the same page all night. So it was really nice. If those two can continue to get more and more in sync, gosh. And I mean, obviously, I'm not sure what you talked about right before I hopped on, but does Gunnar Henderson hate hang time on home runs? Does he only hit line drives that find the seats now? Because I think his past 2 home runs the past 2 nights have stayed in the air for maybe a combined 1.3 seconds.
Man, both. I'm not even Gunnar's homer tonight, man. But the Orioles were just hitting ropes to over the wall tonight. They were getting them up over the scoreboard, and they weren't necessarily Utah Street homers, but man, they got up and out in a hurry. So doesn't matter how far they go as long as they get out. You could hit it 500 feet, you could hit it 400 feet, 380, depends on that wall. But they got them up and out, and usually for homers, you're like, oh, it's like a towering moonshot. They get hang time on them. Nope. Gunnar instead, he said, you're getting out of here. I don't want to see you ever again. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Kevin, back. This is the official back. We've been seeing it boil up for a few weeks. He was having multi-hit games. Then he'd go over. Multi-hit game, over. Multi-hit game, over. And it was okay, slowly, you started seeing the wheels turn. The rust started getting knocked off. Even his outs, Gunnar was hitting hard line drives to the outfield, and it wasn't necessarily that when he was hitting balls, it was fly balls. Everything was a line drive. Last night, 3-0 count, lines out to left field on a rope. I mean, beautifully hit ball, just right at the left fielder. That happens. Now you're seeing the line drives. It's not like, we just joked about it. These aren't fly balls that are leaving the yard right now. Gunnar is mashing home runs, 113 miles an hour last night. It's exactly what you hoped from Gunnar. Gunnar's at his best when he's not trying to hit home runs, when he's having hard contact and he's just, it's finding its way out. And that's what he's doing right now, is he's absolutely just destroying pitchers on mistake pitches. And it's not that, he's hitting these 500-foot bombs. He's sitting there, and obviously last night did go to Utah Street, but it's all line drives. It's not these, we've seen so many times Gunnar hit these high fly balls, the overarching, you're looking at it and it could touch the sky. And, it's just these bombs. But right now it's line drives that are finding out, and that's better. If you're going to have line drives find their way to the gap, find their way out of the stadium, it makes you that much more dangerous because you're not relying just on home runs. You're hitting hard line drives, and some are just, because you hit them so well, finding their way out.
Yeah, I think for me, being able to get these guys hopefully all the way back by the time the playoffs start is the most important thing. And obviously Gunnar went through his slump and he went through his down stretch. But like you said, man, he seems to be absolutely back. And a lot of these guys are starting to turn some level of a corner where they're not going to get a hit every single night, right? Jackson goes over for 4 tonight. We're not sitting here and saying Jackson's in a slump, right? We're not doing that. But you see Colton is in a rhythm. Tony obviously has been incredible. Gunnar's getting that swagger back. I mean, said he can give you something every other day or every third day, it feels like. I know the one that everybody's still waiting on is Adley. The consistency factor is everybody's still waiting on Adley. There's too much talent there for him not to get something back at some level at some point. But this has been a very prolonged stretch after a scorching hot start to the season. He's not seeing the ball well. He's not getting good contact. He's getting unlucky at points too. Like he's not in a rhythm right now. And that's the one guy that everybody is like, if he can get going too, and everybody can kind of play decent baseball at the same time, and you have a couple guys who mash. I mean, that behind Burns, behind Eflin, the good version of Albert Suarez, that's a dangerous team.
Yeah. And I'm going to say I'm worried about, when I say I'm worried about Adley,
It's just because this has been going on since, mid-June, beginning of July now. It's been tough. He's not playing the game that we know he can play. His batting average is like 260 now. It was at 309 halfway through the year. This has not been the Adley Rutschman we know and love. And it's going to take him getting back on track for this team to have any chance at a World Series. And it doesn't mean they, if he's not good, they have no chance. But in some ways, Kevin, we talk about it all the time. This team goes as Adley Rutschman goes. When Adley's hot, it seems like the entire team's hot. He's affecting the pitching staff. He's affecting the rest of the bats in the lineup. He just brings this confidence when he's playing well that, okay, we can go win any single one of these games. We will go rip off 5 straight wins, 6 straight wins. So
Yeah.
I'm not – and this is the biggest, most frustrating is his defense is taking a hit. And that's what's concerning to me. His defense is concerning. I will say this. I think pitchers have not helped him with their slow deliveries to the plate, especially in the running game. But, yeah, it's starting to get to the point where I'm a little concerned about him.
Yeah, well, the defense for the whole team really hasn't been great all year. It's not.
Ramon had that awkward fall where the pop up in foul territory that then he tripped over himself backpedaling, and it's the whole. I agree. The whole team is struggling defensively. It's not just Adley.
Yeah, I mean, it's not me trying to say like, oh, the whole team is struggling, so Adley gets a pass. Obviously, he doesn't get a pass. Like, no one gets a pass for the defense. But that to me is the most concerning part because the offense has gone through super hot stretches and super cold stretches. The starting staff has gone through super hot stretches and super cold stretches. The bullpen has gone through super hot stretches and super cold stretches. The defense has been pretty poor all year. That's the one that has consistently been pretty poor all season long. So that's the thing that I worry about because, look, when you get to the playoffs, here's the reality. Errors, miscues are magnified by like 10 times more magnified than they are in the regular season because you can lose a game off of that. You don't just get to say, all right, let's go try to win the series, then we'll move on to the next one. Because if you don't win the series, you're done. So that to me is the biggest concern point. But again, I'd rather them go through it now as opposed to in the postseason. The issue is they've been going through it all season. Yeah.
Yeah. And this team is at a point, I saw someone say 40 games. This 40 games is where you have to make it. You know, as much as we're already 122 games into this year. Jesus.
Feels like yesterday we were kicking up the opening day stream.
Yay. We were literally, it was yesterday, not opening day. Wow. All of a sudden, when I said 40 games left, I did the math of how many have been played. I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, it's a 40-game season now. 0-0 with the Yankees. Yeah, go win it. Go win the division. But in order to do that, you're going to need your stars like Adley. You're going to need your stars like Gunnar. You're going to need your stars like Tony to step up and continue to do what they do and what they've been doing for the majority of this season. Because it's really funny. It feels like Adley was super hot in this unstoppable force for the whole first half of the year. Then he cooled down and Tony was this unstoppable force in different ways. Tony, obviously, just when he's unstoppable, the ball goes 500 feet. But if they can get everyone going again, the sky's the limit. They get Corbin Burns pitching like Corbin Burns can pitch. You get Zach Eflin pitching like this. I'm feeling real confident in games 1 and 2. And then you just need Albert Suarez to be the Albert Suarez who will go 5 scoreless. You do that, you have a pretty good chance at winning some playoff series.
Yeah. And I see Austin saying I've been dodging the calls to eat pickles. We used to do pickles after sweeps. We've retired the pickles, especially after we hit 1,000. I literally finished off the last of the spicy pickles that I had. We've moved on to spicy ramen, but there has been not a sweep since I retired the pickles.
Dude, the Orioles have been ducking Kevin. I think that's what's happening. The O's
I have the first 3 levels of the ramen for the sweep. For those who don't know, after sweeps, I do some challenge, and the new challenge is I'll eat a spicy ramen that goes up in spice level because I have an awful spice tolerance. So I go up in spice every single sweep. I had done it with pickles originally, and the Orioles swept the literal next series.
Every single, it was legitimate. So, that was when the O's were. We did kind of pick a good time. That was when the O's were.
Although I do see that people are calling for the pickles again, so I guess it's my cartwheels. It's my cartwheels and my lack of pickles that are cursing.
I think we do have to bring it back to the pickles, though. I think just philosophically, we do better with the pickles.
I'll see what I can do. Yeah, but we haven't talked at all about the offense outside of Gunnar and Seti and frankly, I mean, there wasn't really a lot outside of those two. But
Cowser loved it. 2 for 4. Starts the game with a single, then gets the RBI double. James McCann losing the helmet and then running around third with just his massive face mask on might be my favorite clip of all time because he is hustling so hard and he is giving so much effort. He's not moving that fast. And that just massive cage is just sitting on his face.
Man. And hey, man, Tony gets on base 2 times. Steve Mounty's pinch hit. The pinch hit decisions this year have been either very on or very off. It doesn't really feel like there's an in between.
Kevin,
I'm going to disagree because according to Rock Kabatko, Orioles pinch hitters this year are batting .364. So, yeah, when Brandon Hyde has been making these decisions to pinch hit, love him or hate him, it's been working out. They are I believe they are number one in average for pinch hitting. So
it has been more good than bad pinch hitting wise.
We can talk about the bullpen management all day and how that's, even tonight with Eflin pulling him, but you got to give Hyde credit. The dude's pulling the right strings offensively, throughout this season.
Yeah, and I think that does speak to just the depth that they have at multiple positions. Are they the deepest team in the MLB at every single spot? No, but they have bench talent that can go out there and get stuff done. Give a guy an off day, he can come in into the one at bat situation, and sometimes it can be hard. I think it's a testament to these batters too. It can be hard to go out there, be an ice cold, not having anything. You don't have any at bats. You got to just come in and try to get a hit after not playing all game. And these guys have stayed ready throughout the courses of games to be able to go out there and produce when they need to. So it's been big.
Yeah.
It has been big.
And I know we're talking the offense right now, and pinch hitting, guys coming off the bench. But I think, unfortunately, it's also a time that we have to bring up the guy that wasn't starting and wasn't on the bench tonight. Koby Mayo sent down. Kevin, kind of just off the rip, what are your reactions to that?
I could kind of see it coming. I think a lot of people could, if we're being honest. He got the hit last night. I mean, obviously, I didn't think that was necessarily saving him from this fate. But, we heard guys like Colton Cowser talk about it, and say that he was told that it's okay to come up to the major league, struggle a little bit, and have that experience. And it's not like the Orioles have ever had success with this before, right? Bringing a guy up, sending him down, and bringing him back up. They've been plenty successful at doing that. So you talk about Colton, talk about Jackson. Other guys have gone through it as well. Grayson has gone through it. These are situations where sometimes it does take adjustments, and it does feel like the same conversation we had with Jackson. The difference with Jackson is that there was so much fanfare with him early when he came up the first time because of those expectations. But that's not to say Koby didn't have high expectations. And I think that's why, again, you see a guy struggle. And this isn't just an Orioles thing, too. Obviously, some young players, when they get called up for the first time, they just mash or they just shove and they're up forever. But other times there are situations across the league where a guy does have to go back down. A guy does have to refine something or change a pattern or readjust to say, I did this well in the minor leagues, but then I got up to the majors and it didn't fly whatsoever. So now what can we do? The team, management, coaching staff, player, to get them up to a point, to get that player up to a speed where it works at all levels. Because it is different for everybody. So I'm not discouraged for Koby Mayo by this. And I think, honestly, Jackson going through it has probably given a lot of those other guys the blueprint of not being discouraged going back down. Sure, it's not a great feeling, right? Sure, it's not.
Yeah.
But I think that since we have seen the Jackson thing work, and Jackson struggled mightily, he goes down, he comes back up. Koby probably saw that and was like, okay, and he knew this anyway, and this was the mindset. It's not the end of the world if he struggles. Everybody goes through it. Everybody has those moments of just, slumps early on in their careers. Sometimes you work through it at the major league level. Sometimes you don't. And I think Koby will be better for being able to have the experience. He had 16 at bats?
17.
17 at bats. It wasn't a big sample size. I think he'll be able to go back down, figure it out, come back up, and have a similar path to Jackson Holiday.
Yeah, Jackson Holiday, Grayson Rodriguez, Colton Cowser, all did the exact same things. It is, and I see Rod talking about it, it's rare for a guy to come up and show up and dominate in baseball.
It is. And that's why I'm not concerned about Koby getting sent down. I think this is exactly, like you said, Kevin, it's exactly what Jackson Holiday was like. You went there, and I'm sure they're doing the same thing. When Jackson Holiday was sent down, they gave him a step-by-step process. They were like, hey, here's what we want you to work on. Here's the drills we're going to do. Here's what it's helping. Here's the improvements we think you need to come up here and be successful. What did he do? He went down there, and the world ended because he started struggling, because it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows, and that's not the point of it to be. He's supposed to go down and struggle at AAA, but it's because he's learning something new. He's changing stuff. And they're going to do the same thing with Koby Mayo. They'll go out there. They'll give him, hey, we think you need to work on this, that, and the other. Here are the drills. Here is the step-by-step plan to get you ready to go out there and dominate when you get back up here, so you can be like Jackson Holiday and hit the ground running. So this was the best move. He wasn't great up here. I think last night was by far his best performance defensively and offensively. I loved all of his at-bats last night. So it really is a point where we're at. If you can't help this team win right now, then don't go, you don't want to put him out there every game. It's a part of this team is trying to win right now while also giving these guys opportunities. And injury helped. If Westberg's still up here, I'm not sure Koby would have been up here till September. But now I think you see Koby maybe in a month, if we're lucky. I could see him reasonably coming back in a month, especially if Westberg is not going to be available for the playoffs. I think you see him in a month. We're going to see the adjustments they made, and then we're going to go from there. But this is definitely not a situation where I'm like, damn, Kobe sent down. That's it for him. Sucks. Move on. Like, I think he's going to be just as good, if not better than expected. It just takes time to come up there and continue. And people forget that he was drafted out of high school. What is his official age right now? He's got to be like, I think he's 22. I really wasn't. Yeah, he's 22 years old. He's younger than Gunnar. He's young. Like, 22-year-olds don't usually play Major League Baseball. They're 22-year-olds playing in college right now.
Yeah.
He's ahead of schedule.
He is. And Scott asking who came up. They brought back Livan Soto. So he will be.
We got Soto.
Best Soto in the league. Let's go.
I like our strategy of we're just stocking up on Sotos. Livan Soto, Gregory Soto. Do you think we make a move now for Juan?
They have to have like the infinity gauntlet of Sotos.
Just like adding Juan Soto to the Soto Infinity Stones.
Yeah, we got to get, if that happens, we have to get a Dean Kramer, Juan Soto, once sit down, mic'd up for those two. That would be the biggest twist of any offseason, is if the Orioles to say, hey, here's Juan Soto. Like, man,
that would be
real crazy.
I was crazy. When I looked up Koby Mayo's age, they did this man so freaking dirty on his post.
What do you mean?
Like, look, it's him spitting out sunflower seeds. Why could it not be an in-action shot, or even just him sitting there? Like,
technically, is in action. It's technically an action shot.
He's spitting out sunflower seeds.
Yeah, and I saw it early, but yes, the congratulations is in order to another Kevin Brown for the extension. Very well deserved, and glad he's going to be in Baltimore for the long term here with that deal. And I think, is that all we got?
Yeah, but I do want.
Well, I'm saying for the game.
Yeah.
Is there any other storyline you want to talk about, or did we cover?
Not really. It was a very balanced game. The past two games have been super balanced. I love that. These were the games
we had hoped for. Is the Orioles, the pitching's doing well, the offense is scoring runs, and they're just doing everything seems like it's a controlled unit. It doesn't look like, we've always talked about you hate when the offense has to pick up for the pitching and when the pitching has to pick up for the offense. I'm tired of losing 7-8 and I'm tired of losing 2-1. If you can consistently have both sides of the ball producing at this rate, that's also just massive.
Yeah, and what was I going to say? Oh, yeah, this is Kevin and Zach React. We are your Orioles post-game destination, and we go live after every single Orioles game. So if you are new to the channel and you want a place to react, win or lose, the highest of emotions or the lowest of emotions, we are here for you every single time. And if you have a friend or a family member who enjoys Orioles content, who wants a place to react to Orioles post-game, we also will be dabbling with some Ravens stuff this year as well. And also we react to every piece of Orioles big news and trade, whatever it may be. We react to, really, we're going to try to do a lot here. So if you have a friend or a family member who is in the Baltimore sports realm or just general sports realm in general, and they want that content, be sure to send them our way and hit that like and subscribe button. If you are an existing viewer, watcher, listener, we appreciate the support as always. Thank you for being here with us. And of course, on the Ryan Ripken Show, we go live Mondays and Thursdays in studio, but we did not go live today. Zach, would you like to explain why that was the case?
So everyone knows David Rubenstein, the owner of the Baltimore Orioles, but not as many people talk about Mike Arrigotti, the one who famously handed out beers at Pickles and the center field bar during opening day. He talked a little bit about, but we sat down with Mike Arrigotti today. Ryan did, and we were at the warehouse once again, and we have a little teaser for you all. If you've been on Twitter, you've probably seen it, but let's share the little teaser for you guys.
Your guys' plan is you have 100% commitment to try to help push Baltimore back to a World Series title and something that fans here haven't had. And I can't believe I'm saying it again, in 41 years.
Yep. I think that's absolutely right. From the day that we bought the team, which was the day before opening day, we made that commitment, right? We love baseball. We love Baltimore. We also love winning.
Your guys' plan is.
I love that, Kevin, and we immediately texted each other what we were doing, because we were like, there it is. Me and Kevin always have the eyes out for what's going to get clipped, what we need to make sure gets out for the teasers. And immediately we were like, as soon as he said, we love baseball, we love Baltimore, we also love winning, I was sold, baby. I was sold.
Yeah, and there is a lot more content in that interview. We're going to have the full release coming out here sometime after we finish up here. We're trying to just get the finishing touches on everything for the full release. It's already out to Holy Shirts and Pants members, though, so if you want to head over to the Ryan Ripken Show channel and join the Holy Shirts and Pants membership tier, you can do that to get early access. It's been out for a couple of hours now, but the full release will be available on the Ryan Ripken Show channel, again, probably in the next couple of hours, hopefully, as we get the remaining touches on the video and the audio and everything of that nature. But there's a lot of spicy stuff in there, too. The hot dog conversation was one that you're going to want to listen into. I'll give a little spoiler. Ryan gets roasted again.
If you like watching owners and general managers just rip into Ryan about his preferences for hot dogs, this might have been up there for this. I'm not even going to say up there. This was an all-time ass ripping. Arrigotti had no time for Ryan.
Yeah, and then there was other spicy conversation on the ownership group as a whole, how they want to handle their tenure and how they go about, interacting with the fan base and how they love interacting with the fan base, stuff about the trade deadline, behind the scenes stuff on, running a club.
Members of the Holy Shirts and Pants Club, it is out already for you guys. It'll be out for the rest tomorrow, but already talking about Ryan got roasted. Let me just say that. And Insight, okay, but show us the money. He actually gets into this. He talks about this, about kind of how they perceive things, and they're kind of going forward. And let me just tell you, it got me fired up. It got me fired up knowing that these guys want to win, and they are doing everything possible to make sure the best team in baseball resides in Baltimore.
Yeah, it was an awesome interview. Highly recommend. We're going to get it out for you for everybody who is not a member of Holy Shirts and Pants. But if you do want exclusive access, if you cannot wait to watch the interview, of course, you can go and subscribe over there and join the membership tier. But yeah, is that all you got, or you got anything else?
No,
it just feels like no drama, no big things to talk about, just an overall solid win.
Usually, like we at least go an hour because win or lose, something happened. This just felt like a game where, like, Kevin, dare I say, the past two games have been like the easiest to watch and just no stress. Like, oh, we haven't done one up, one down. That's on us.
Oh,
that's
sure. All right, so let's round it out with that.
I think that's a good way to round it out. I'm going to go first. Because I need to take this guy because we share the same name. So I have to. What a day for Zach's. Zach's stand up, baby. Zack Eflin, my one-up dog. Absolute dog. He is starting to, I'm not saying he is as good as Corbin Burns. This is not what I'm saying at all. But Kevin, my comfortability with him on the mound is up there with Burns. When he's out on the mound, I feel fantastic.
Yep. Was the guy I was going to take. So
that's why I had to take you first.
I know you beat me.
I was going to say you go first, and I was like, he's so going to take Zack Eflin.
Well, you know what? The Zach connection, I'll let you have it. And I will take the person or fish that I share a room with right here, a house with, in Mr. Birch Fish / Smith himself, as he comes in, gets two of the biggest outs of the game, keeps the Orioles just grounded, leveled. You could take Gunnar, obviously. You could take a couple other guys, but obviously I got to give it to Burt Smith, the legend here, who's been just as steady as ever.
Honorary one-up.
Honorary one-up. Who's your one down?
Gregory Soto. He stresses me. I am so intrigued by that man. But my God, does he stress me out every single time. I'm just like, he comes in and I'm like, just don't lose the lead. Like, I almost assume we're going to get into, unfortunately, Lorex, it is kind of getting to Fuji vibes. But, like, Fuji had, like, that's the thing. Fuji had outings where you were like, okay, it's there. Like, you know what I mean, Kevin? Like, Fuji had outings where even when it wasn't going well, he was doing electric things. And he would have like one in every 3 outings. He would go out there and just go 1, 2, 3. But there were also those outings where you're like, Fuji, please find the strike zone. And that's where we're kind of sitting with Gregory Soto right now.
Yeah. That was if I had gone first, I would have had the exact same one up, one down as you. But I will go Ramon Arias. 0-4 at the plate tonight. Had the weird play as well. So if it's not Soto, I will go with Ramon Arias. And they need something, man. We don't know when Westburg's coming back. So whether it's Arias, Soto, Livan, if you want to throw Gregory Soto out there at third base, be my guest. I'm not doing it, but Livan, Soto, Arias. Do they call up one of the vets they just got, and JD Davis or
Like, why wasn't it JD Davis? Like, I think they're valuing defense that much right now, because I think like Livan Soto is just he can play everywhere in the infield and he's a decent glove. Like, because if JD Davis is raking right now in AAA. So like, when I saw that he was getting sent down, I honestly assumed it would be JD Davis, but
Yeah.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah. Which, again, they need defense more than off. I mean, their offense can survive without JD Davis. If Soto can bring them anything defensively, then that is a bonus because their defense has been it's been the Achilles heel of their team this season.
Yeah. I see a few people saying, Davis Segura in New York when lefties are back, lefty bat facing a lot. It might be. That might be. I think it's a lot to do with versatility. Probably the left-handed bat also helps. So it's going to be interesting to see. But we are back tied for first place, Kevin. Doesn't it feel good?
Gotta love it, man. Absolutely have to love it. The Yankees start a 3-game set with Detroit tomorrow. So,
wait, real fast.
Do they face Skubal?
I was just looking at that. I'm like, these, like, please.
Honorary Oriole to Tarek Skubal.
Please tell me he pitches Sunday. Yes. Yes,
yeah.
They do on Sunday. Oh my God. They face Skubal at they're playing the Little League Classic.
Oh.
Damn. That was so fun when the Orioles were doing that. What was that? 2 years ago they did it? When that was when Hayes and Adley were
slide. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Damn, they're gonna let the Yankees enjoy that. Kids are gonna like them. Damn it.
This is the ultimate hate right here.
I will
Zach
say
just wanting.
And my favorite thing is, remember like 3 years ago when Bryce Harper and all them were there and they were because the Pennsylvania team was also playing and Pennsylvania hit like a go-ahead double and the whole Phillies team was just going nuts. And like Harper is like throwing, like they are just losing it. And someone's like, imagine being the pitcher and you just gave up a double and then you look in the stands and Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are actively preying on your downfall. Like they are just going nuts and you're some 12-year-old kid and you have the best players in the world just absolutely rooting against you.
Oh man. Yeah. It is something, but hopefully a sweep is on deck. Hopefully Detroit can pull some Javi Baez five homer series legacy series.
Please. Awesome. But yeah, I think that wraps it up. Quick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we were a little late. Sorry about that. We both had a few things we had to do before we hopped on stream. I'm actually was with some other Loyola guys on a podcast talking about sports, so that'll be coming out next week. I'll be tweeting about that. It was a good time shooting shit with the boys. So yeah, but that'll do it for this edition of Kevin and Zach React. We are live after each Orioles and Ravens game. We will do everything in between as the news comes and goes. But yeah, Orioles win today. Let me pull it up. 5-1 as they beat the Boston Red Sox in the first of 4. We'll be back at it tomorrow after the game. Game will be a 7:05 start time. Let me get the pitchers real fast. Corbin Burns versus undecided, my favorite. So that'll do it for tonight, and we will see you back here tomorrow for another edition of Kevin and Zach React.